What up, good people, and welcome to another episode of Keep It Thorough, where we give you the real behind business health, money, and self development, and introduce engaging concepts to help you elevate your performance in all areas of life. I'm your host, Cedric Lavelle, joined by my counterpart, Mr. E. Double.
Yes, sir. Your boy E Double. We back at y'all season 3, episode 119. And the title of this episode is Teaching Kids About Money, Parenting, and Financial Education. A very good episode, a very important topic.
Absolutely.
Um, I don't think enough parents invest in this educational practice with their children. That could go a
Yeah.
very, very long way. So, with all that being said, do not forget to check out the kit that corresponds to this episode on keepitthorough.com/kits. You can also check out our hats on there, all our previous episodes. And we appreciate everybody who podcasts with us wherever you podcast. So, without further ado, let's go and kick this thing off. Sid.
Absolutely, man. Let's get into it. So, financial literacy is a life skill that has lifelong benefits. And the sooner that it's taught, the greater effect it can have on someone's financial future. And I believe most importantly, just like you was just saying, when it comes to kids, setting the foundation early for wise financial decisions will pay off significantly as they grow older. And I feel that as parents, guardians, mentors, whatever significant role that you may play in a child's life, your approach and our approach to money in actions as well as in discussions serve as the first classroom for a child's financial education. The first thing that they see a lot of times is how we act when it comes to money, our behaviors, our decisions that we make. And you can just think about everyday activities, going grocery shopping, getting gas, family outings, purchasing things from a store, whatever the case may be. In all of these instances, these can become, valuable teaching moments. They can be situations where children can learn certain behaviors and certain concepts as it relates to money. And when you're involving your children in these activities, you're doing more than just teaching them about money, but you're really just shaping their financial habits and attitudes, which ultimately have a lasting impact. And it influences them in their financial behaviors in the current as well as in the future going into adulthood, right? So it's imperative that we create these opportunities for them just to understand the value of money and provide just the instructions on how to properly use it as a tool, because the real behind that is when you have a foundation that's laid for financial independence, for financial responsibility, for financial resilience, right? You're not just preparing them for the future, you're really empowering them to make smart decisions, avoid unnecessary debt, build a secure, prosperous life, everything that you would want for your child. And the groundwork really just sets them up for success in all areas of life, just giving them the confidence to navigate the financial challenges that they will inevitably experience potentially as they get older. And with the right wisdom, and with the white, here I go through all words, man. With the right wisdom and the right help, you can allow your kids to make, or enable your kids rather to make good financial choices that's going to benefit them for the years to come.
For sure, man.
I'm
So,
not going to stumble over my R words today. It's not
that
happening.
was that was a affirmation to itself, um, to its subconscious. But cool, right? So connecting concepts with practical life. Um, I think this is very important when teaching kids something, right? Because they don't have years of experience or, wisdom to kind of connect certain dots that, an adult may have. But also, even for adults, if you can connect certain concepts that they may not understand with practical life, it can even help adults understand certain things. So, but it's especially valuable when trying to educate children. So, linking money management lessons to everyday activities can, demystify the abstract concept and, anchor them in your child's reality. So whether through games like store or bank, which I'm sure we all played that when we were kids with either Monopoly money or, some fake money, like playing store, you buying stuff at the store, or playing bank, or even playing like Monopoly, right? But or setting short-term savings goals for a desired toy. I don't know what the hell word I said. Desired toy. The key is to make these lessons tangible, right? So this connection not only enhances understanding, but also retains interest among young learners. So your children are more likely to grasp and retain financial concepts when they see them applied in familiar settings. So, interactive and relatable methods can transform mundane financial lessons into exciting and engaging learning experiences. So, make it tangible, make it practical, make it apply to their life, right? Like if they, like the example I just gave, if there's a toy that they want and it costs X amount of money and they're old enough to get an allowance, like, okay, show them, like, okay, you worked here, you did, this amount of work, it took you this long to save this amount of money, to buy this, and then they can kind of understand the concept of saving. Because they might go to the store and want a piece of candy. And you can say, okay, I'll buy you that piece of candy, but we have to take it away from that money that you saved. And then it's going to take you longer to get that toy that you were saving for. And then they kind of understand that concept, like, oh, okay, well, I don't really want that candy that much. I want that toy more. Or, you know what? I do want that piece of candy and I'm willing to wait a little longer to get the toy, to satisfy that need for instant gratification, getting that or buying on impulse, But encouraging your children to manage a small amount of money provides hands-on experience with budgeting and prioritizing, which I just explained prioritizing, right? Like, do you want the candy or do you want the toy? Which one is more important to you? But this practical approach helps them see the direct consequences of their financial decisions, reinforcing the lessons taught. For instance, giving your child an allowance and guiding them on allocating it for different purposes can teach essential budgeting skills. These type of activities help them understand the trade-offs and the importance of prioritizing needs over wants. Maybe you need the new backpack and you just wanted the toy or something. I don't know, but you guys get the concept, I'm sure. But real life practice with money management instills a sense of financial responsibility, and it prepares your children for handling large sums of money in the future. And I say this all the time: if you can't handle your $35,000 salary or amount that you make per year, throwing more money into the mix ain't gonna make it easier. If you can't manage 35,000, you're not gonna be able to manage 100,000. Your reckless habits are gonna transfer. And I also seen something on Instagram where it talks about mindset and kind of like a money mindset. I'm paraphrasing here, but they basically say if you give a $3 million, and I'm just using the word money mindset. I don't think that's what they use, but if you give a $3 million or $100,000 to a $3 million money mindset, that person is going to turn that 100 grand into 3 million.
Right.
Right now, if you give $1 million to $100,000 mindset, that person is going to turn that million into $100,000. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
because they don't know how to maintain or live. They know what to do with the 100,000 and how to manage that and live within that realm, but they don't know what to do with 1 million. That's too much for them. It's access. They're not trained. They're not conditioned to properly handle those funds, and all of that starts with education. And if the faster you can educate your young children and give them that financial literacy, you prepare them to have a higher net worth when it comes to that money mindset, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah. That makes perfect sense, and it's good that you said that, because I think the one thing that is universally known when it comes to money is that it can be a helpful companion or it can be a hindering constraint, right? It can be something that um, is able to uh, allow you to build, or it can be something that may potentially become a burden. But I think that the ultimate goal for everyone with money is to get to a point where money supports your life and not restricts it. You know what I'm saying? And I know we've said this in an episode a while back when we talked about when you can get yourself into a place where money is not a concern for you, right? You've done all the things that are necessary to manage and maintain good financial stability and good financial structure, that you're able to make decisions based off of what you know is available to you, but also the things that you want or the things that you need, right? Because a lot of times, what can potentially happen is there may be certain things that you may need, but you have financial restraints and you're not able to do those things. You're restricted. But ultimately, you want to get to a point to where those things aren't an issue, you know? And so I believe that as older adults, we have to be mindful of what we do so our children won't mimic any unhealthy habits. I think that's imperative and that's important to understand, because I believe when it comes to topics like the importance of savings, when it comes to topics like using money as a resource and a tool, or just the impact of giving, if we can display the right actions that reflect these types of conversations, we can create the impact that's needed that will lead them in the right direction. And so I think it's just imperative that we educate ourselves as parents, as mentors, as guardians, however you feel is most comfortable for you, whether it's, you know, through podcasts, through books, whatever the case may be. But educate yourself, learn the things that you need to learn, and then if you're around children, whether it's your own children or if it's just children that's in your area, make it a point to make your presence known, especially if you have some sort of influence or impact in that child's life. Create an environment where you can create some dialogue to talk about just minor things. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be anything that's very extreme. Um, unless that child is older, and you definitely want to make certain that your conversations are age appropriate and it's able to understand. But putting yourself in a position to educate them and help them out along the way pays dividends, right? And so if you have that role, I think it's imperative again that you educate yourself, become more financially literate, not allow your inadequacies or things that you don't know to be a hindrance to you, but really taking pride in just um, the opportunity to learn something and then paying it forward to a younger generation.
For sure, man. So a little earlier, right? I was talking about, connecting concepts with practical life and like the importance of doing that with children, or young kids. But the reality is not everybody has young kids. Some people got teenagers. Said, you know what I mean? But some people have older kids, and some of those, playing bank or playing store, kids aren't gonna want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we can have engagement through reality. And a way you can do that is having regular discussions about family financial decisions, such as planning a vacation or buying a car. Those are great ways to involve your children in the process and clarifying financial management aspects, right? So if you're getting ready to buy your 16-year-old their first car, show them prices, right? Because I'm sure every 16-year-old would love to have a brand new whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mercedes, BMW, Ferrari, Porsche,
Tesla.
Tesla, whatever. But you need to let them realize, like, hey, that costs a lot of money. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
And for your very first car, that's not a very smart financial decision, right? So, explaining to them, maybe how, and whatever you're comfortable with too, right? Because not all parents are going to be comfortable telling all of their financial business to their teenager. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever you're comfortable with, explain to them, okay, it took me this long to save up this amount of money to, buy this car for you. Or if you pull money from investments, you can explain that to them. Well, I had this amount of money invested for you and I did, you know what I mean? That's another way to get them involved, right? In financial planning and financial decisions, talking about stocks and, various different things like that. But just pour them into that process and let them know, how things cost and how, it's not a small purchase. That's not it's a pretty big deal to be buying them a car or whatever the case may be. Or when you're planning for family vacations, all the plane tickets, the rental car, the hotel room, the amount of money you got to spend while you're there. You can give them a budget, that they can have while they're there, which will help them with kind of, managing money and balancing the budget. But those things are very, very important. And those types of conversations should be age appropriate, obviously, and focused on teaching why decisions are made a certain way. So, for example, explaining the need to save for a big purchase rather than using credit can impart lessons on, debt and financial planning. Involving children in these dialogues helps them understand the practical implications of financial choices. And, additionally, it also encourages open communication about money, which is important. It reduces financial taboos and fostering a healthy attitude towards financial matters. So teaching your kids sound financial behaviors equips them with the tools to make wise money decisions, build financial security, and developing lifelong habits of, financial responsibility. So, incorporating everyday activities and real life scenarios into, your lessons makes the concepts more relatable and easier to understand. So, these practical, or this practical approach not only reinforces learning, but also has the potential to significantly enhance their financial well-being in the long run. So, said all that to say this: just pull your kids into some of your financial planning. Depending on how private you are or whatever your comfort level is, and then whatever their age is, because it needs to be age appropriate. But just pour them along the way, right? When they're young and they're little kids, 5, 6, 7, up through that, elementary school age, yeah, play bank, give them an allowance, help them with like saving for big purchases. Maybe they want a bike or whatever the case may be. Then they get a little older, they go into high school, you buy them a car, pull them into that. You know what I mean? Purchasing a car, what that process looks like, how much is insurance, all of those various different things, and maybe even have them pay a portion of the car, right? Like give them an allowance to cover a small amount, you know, and then you pay the rest, or some just get creative, with how you
Right.
do it, or you can even give them a budget to pay for their own gas, right? Like I'm not paying for your gas, you got to pay for your own gas, but whatever the case may be, just pull them in, and then touching base with them at those various stages of their life as they're growing and wanting more money and becoming more expensive. It helps them to
Right.
form the correct habits.
That's big. And like you said, as children get older, their wants and needs get more expensive. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And so when you're, like you were saying, like when you're making these things relatable to the stage that they're in their lives, that makes those conversations more impactful. It makes things more tangible because you can put a finger on it. It's like, okay, well, this is why this is this way, and we have to do it this way. Just decision making. And I actually saw an ad today where it was Kevin Hart talking to his daughter, and I think she came in, she had made a purchase, and he was like, "What did you use?" She was like, "I used the debit card," and then he started explaining to her why she should have used a credit card, and kind of just going through like the differences between debit and credit. But having these open conversations and this dialogue is necessary. Just like E was saying earlier, a lot of times it's not very prevalent in certain households, or it's not communicated as often when it really should be. This should be an ongoing conversation in your child's life from when they're able to count from 1 to 10 all the way until all the
till
way
they leave your
until, because it don't even
yeah, until, because even when they leave your house, you
it
still
don't,
need to be having money
right.
conversations
You
with
know,
them.
you still need to be having conversations. You know, it can be about estate planning and just kind of keeping the family wealth going, all these types of things. So really just making certain that your kids are financially savvy, um, is a service to them, right? And it's a responsibility as parents for us to instruct and guide as best as we can, you know. And he was just giving some interesting ways of how you can make certain things relatable and have these conversations. But additional things that you can also do would be just helping them set up a savings account, right? And with doing so, this will just formalize um, saving habits and introduce them to banking concepts. You know, just giving them an understanding of how the banking system works, how a debit card works, how a savings account works,
What them
how you should
overdraft
go.
fees look like.
Yeah, yeah, those situations too, man. In my younger days. I've had to
Oh
experience
man,
those
and I ain't
things.
had one of no, I ain't had no overdraft fees in a minute, but boy, let me tell you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But just being able to really just make those concepts very concrete, you know what I'm saying?
Sticky.
Where they can see it and it can stick and they understand it. So helping them do something like that. In addition to that, we said this earlier, earning through chores. And we've all experienced this when we were younger. You know, whether it be you clean the bathroom, you wash the dishes, all these other types of things. You know, you earn through chores. And with doing that, it allows a child to understand the importance of work and the value of work, and how you can, you know, use your efforts and use your time to earn an income, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And so that's another thing that you can do that's going to be beneficial for you. Then, you know, budgeting together, right? So introducing certain concepts to them and creating a simple budget can also be impactful. And a lot of times people don't have budgets. So having a budget is certainly something that you would want to have. And then being able to introduce concepts to budgeting um, is going to pay off for you in the long run. You know what I'm saying? It's a hands-on approach, and it really just teaches them about the allocation and expense tracking of money. Next thing you'd want to do is to set financial goals, right? So help your child set and plan financial goals and give them a breakdown on how they can achieve those goals. And this is just going to teach them the importance of strategy and patience. You know, if you want to save for something, there's something that you want to buy. Okay, let's go through how you save your money. Let's set a financial goal. Let's go through a process of how you're going to earn it. What percentage you may want to put aside month to month, whatever the case may be. Make it interactive, but helping them set financial goals is something else that can be impactful. And then the last thing is just reflect on spending, right? So regularly discuss recent purchases and their value to teach your child about buyer's remorse and the importance of thoughtful spending, right? Because a lot of times people get into these situations where, you know, you buy something and you really didn't want it. Now you got buyer's remorse. You know what I'm saying? And me and E, we come from a sales background, so we see it all the time. You know, people come in the store and they buy something, and a couple of days later, it's like, you know what, I need to buy this. You know, I don't think I have a need for this, right? And so when you're able to explain the difference between thoughtful spending and spending with intent opposed to frivolous spending, um, that's going to be something that your children will benefit from as they get older. So again, man, just having this dialogue, having these conversations, open up the door to introduce these concepts, and really just have that impact, that financial impact goes a long way. And I can't stress it enough, man. It's our responsibility to our children to do this. And so hopefully this episode gives you some insight and some ideas that you can take moving forward to help your children out.
Hey man, that impulse spending ain't no joke.
Nah,
So and
not at all.
some that I learned from my grandmother that I'll pass on to my children and I'll pass on to y'all as well is my grandma told me a long time ago that no matter what the price of something is, you know, if it's on sale, buy one, get one, buy two, get one, whatever, buy one, get two, whatever the case may be. if you weren't already in the market for it, it's not a good deal. Right? So, like, for instance, if you were saving up to go buy this Samsung TV that costs $1,200, and you ain't bought it yet because it's $1,200, and you got 800 of it, and then that goes on sale for $800. Oh yeah, for sure, go grab that. You know what I mean? You had already planned on it. That was in your list of things you were working towards.
Your
But now,
financial
if you
goals.
had no intent on buying a TV, and now you go into Best Buy, and this regularly $2,500 TV is on sale for $700, and then you just buy one because, man, it's too good of a deal to pass up. Should have passed up on it. You really didn't need it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't a deal because you didn't need it.
Right.
So now there are exceptions to every rule, right? Because in certain situations, I'm finna buy 3 of these because I'm about to sell them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna get a good deal. You know what I mean? Whatever the case, but that's something that I live with, and I promise you, I've walked away from numerous things because of that. It's like, man, I wasn't gonna buy this. I wasn't in the market for this. Like, yeah, that seems like a good deal on paper, but I don't need it. Like, I wasn't thinking about this until I just seen it was on sale. You know what I'm saying? So very, very important. But in short, man, or in summary, I should say, financial literacy for the young, right? That's what this whole episode was about. So instilling financial literacy from a young age is pivotal in raising financial responsible adults. It's pivotal. By embedding financial education into your daily parenting, or almost daily, right? You equip your children with the knowledge they need to navigate the complex world of finance and instill values that will serve them through their lives. This journey is not just about money management. It's about nurturing wise, thoughtful individuals prepared to face the world's financial challenges. With these skills, and financial skills are very, very important, man. Like, you really can't say enough how important they are. Your children can grow into confident and competent adults who can manage their financial futures and contribute positively to their lives and society. I would say most family issues and struggles stem from finances.
Yeah.
Like, I think that might be the number one cause of divorce. And matter of fact, I'm finna fact check myself live with y'all. But if I'm not incorrect, I'm doing this live with y'all.
If it ain't one, it's definitely top 3 for sure.
All right, so it says the leading cause of divorce is the lack of family support, which you can interpret that a bunch of ways. Too much conflict or arguing, and then third is specifically financial stress. But honestly, you can throw finances into both of those first two.
You can,
because when you say
arguing
lack
could
of
be
family support could be lack of financial
support.
And then too much conflict and arguing, you can be arguing a lot because it's finances. So so finances is one of the leading causes.
Right. Absolutely.
Say it that way.
It is.
Of most families, issues and strife, and which leads to divorce and all those various different things. So with all that being said, it's very, 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 very important, right? And the better you know, the better you grow, right? So the better you understand your financial health, the more you can grow your financial tree. You know what I'm saying? So teach your kids young. Teach them all the things that you didn't know. Teach them about credit. Teach them about credit cards. Teach them about loans. Teach them about interest. Teach them about, banking fees and interest rates and all those things. Teach them, and start young. So as they get older and kind of go through those phases that we talked about, and as you kind of pull them along through the journey, it's just going to be easy to them. It's going to be second nature. Like, oh, okay. Like, because it'll get to the point when they're young, if they understand $5, like, okay, that costs $5. Okay, well, it took me, X amount of time to acquire $5 to pay for this. So now they're going to start thinking in time. Like, okay, is it worth it? Like, is this worth this amount of time me working to pay for that? Like, nah, it's not. You know what I'm saying? Or so on and so forth, right? Just because now they're looking at the cost of things, right? Like, I don't
Yeah.
think this is worth that,
Right. Yeah.
like, and then valuing time with money and all those various different things and, all those variables. But very, very important, man. So talk to your kids, teach your kids about money. Anything you want to add, Sid?
No, sir. I think we good, bro.
Hey, well, as always, man, we greatly appreciate y'all for tuning in. This was a Money Matters episode, very important episode, man, because we ain't really talked about the kids, and we love the kids, man. You know what I
Love the
mean? We
kids,
love the
man.
kids, man.
Keep it there.
But
Love the kids.
be sure to keep them educated, and the best way to do that is to continue educating yourself. So, with
Absolutely.
all that being said, man, you know how this go. If you don't do nothing else, keep it
Keep
thorough,
it thorough.
and we'll holler at y'all next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Deuces.